I've been traveling and working while traveling extensively for the last several years, and as part of that I've amassed what I think is a fairly streamlined and minimal tech setup. And in today's video I'm going to share the details of my tech setup, what I bring for work, what I bring to take videos, what I bring to take photos, any tips and tricks, any things that I used to use that I've upgraded from. We're going to go over everything that I use in today's video. The video is going to be broken up into a few sections depending on what might be relevant or not relevant to you. You can skip around. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is what I bring for work. Now, for me, working as a software engineer, I work with Mac. It's always Macs, whether that's my personal laptop or a company laptop. When I have a company laptop, if I have the choice, I will pick a smaller model if I can, so 13 to 14 inches. This allows it to fit into my travel bag of choice. My travel bag of choice is usually the Decathlon 23 to 27 liter, depending on what I'm doing. If I have a bigger laptop or if I have more stuff, then I will take usually the Cotopaxi 35 liter or a bigger bag. My laptop of choice is Mac, and specifically the Macs with the inbuilt Apple chips. I find that you get the most processing power out of them. If you don't need to be doing intensive tasks, then that is not as applicable to you. And obviously most people already have a laptop, and I don't recommend that you buy a laptop specifically for traveling. One of the downsides of traveling with a Mac, again, this is going to be a Mac specific section, sorry to my PC users, is this. So this is the charging thing for a Mac. Because these are so heavy, it can be hard to find an adapter into which they fit without just like falling out. And then sometimes like the weight will cause the adapter to just fall out of the wall. So my solution to this, if you have a Mac, that I highly recommend is to buy this kit of adapters. So how this works is that you can actually get the kit. It's not particularly expensive. I can't remember how much I paid, but it's basically a series of international plugs. You get like the whole international set of these, and what you do is you can just slide off this part and then you can put on any country plug that you want, and then that will now just plug straight into the wall. This is a lifesaver. It's super easy, super quick. When I'm traveling for longer, then I take all of them, but if you're going on a more targeted trip, you can just take the ones that are relevant to you. I've seen a lot of cool things in this area, but for me, what works best is just having like a super minimal setup. I don't find that I need an external keyboard. I find that I can function most of the time with just one monitor when I need to. However, one thing I do bring sometimes and can be an external monitor and also can be useful for certain parts of my work, iPad mini. You can use it as a second monitor for MacBooks. There's a lot of benefits to having it. Unless I really need to save the weight, I will often bring this. The last thing really in this section, if you're looking for a travel mouse, I highly recommend this one. And it's just this tiny little mouse that you use like this. You pinch it between your fingers. This is the little wheel. These are the mouse click buttons. It has a USB connection into your computer. I also think it does Bluetooth, and then it actually charges on the USB that it connects to, so it doesn't need an external charger or anything. Another good alternative if you don't like the idea of like little pinch mouse, particularly if you're someone who you travel for work and you need to do work on a plane and that you don't have a lot of space to like move a mouse around, I recommend a trackball mouse. This is the one I use at home. Basically, instead of moving them to move the mouse, you're actually like rolling the trackball. You honestly could just travel with a laptop if you wanted to be super minimal. So now I'm going to talk about my filming and then photography setup. Some of these things will share some overlap in terms of gear. So I'll talk about the cameras themselves first, and then I'll talk about the general gear that kind of applies to both of them. The first camera that I have is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is a relatively new purchase for me. I think I've had it 9 months or so now. I love this camera. The quality of the video is incredible for how small and tiny it is. If you wanted an ultra minimal setup, really all you need is this camera, the case. This is the little case that it comes in. You put it in here, pull it out when you need to use it, put it back in, and this is almost all you need. I have the full creator setup, and I usually bring the whole thing depending on where I'm going. It comes with a microphone, it comes with some additional battery, it comes with a little tripod stand. Depending on where I was going, I could see myself just bringing the camera and the microphone, and you could even just use a camera if you wanted something super lightweight. The bigger downside of the DJI cameras that I will just say is that they're not the most sturdy, or the Pocket 3 is not the most sturdy. It's not waterproof. It does feel a little flimsy. It's not a super big deal, and I have been using it and not had any problems or any damage to it or anything like that. But it is something to keep in mind if you want a travel camera that you can just abuse a little bit and not have to worry about too much, then this might not be the one for you. If you want a more sturdy camera, I used to have the GoPro 10. I bought it secondhand a couple years ago, and it's a decent camera. I can link down below some videos that I took using the GoPro 10, so if you want to see like the quality and the audio. I just found for what I wanted, it wasn't the best camera, so I resold it and I bought the DJI. These things you can find in pretty good condition secondhand, and I don't think you need to buy the latest one of either by any means. See what you can find secondhand for sure. Before I used the GoPro, I obviously just used my phone. I have the iPhone 11 Pro, so not a recent phone by any means, and I shot my earliest videos all on my phone. No external microphone or anything like that. I can link some of those below as well if you want to get an idea of what that looks like. Absolutely the most minimal way is just using your phone. For me, the storage was prohibitive. The reason that I upgraded was I kept having issues where my phone would get full and then I couldn't film anything, and that was not ideal for me. It also obviously really drains your phone battery to use your phone for that purpose, so having a second camera is really good for that. See what you can find secondhand if you do want to try out one of these cameras. Now onto the photography. I like to take specifically wildlife photos and videos a lot when I'm traveling. I spent a ridiculous amount of time researching what camera setup I could have that would actually fit in my bag, that wouldn't throw my weight off too much. That setup is the Olympus Micro Four Thirds OMD EM Mark II camera body, and the lens is this one. It is the 75mm to 300mm lens, so it's a zoom lens, and that is the only thing that I bring. I specifically use this to take wildlife photos, and for that purpose this is an awesome setup. If you're interested in the quality of video you get out of this setup, then I recommend, I'll link my most recent video down below. All the wildlife footage that I took in that video is from this camera, but I am by no means a pro, so keep that in mind. I think some people are going to come for me for this, but I don't have a specific camera bag for my camera and my lens. I wrap them in clothes and I put them in my clothes packing cubes. That is what I do. I've never had a problem doing that. I just put all the caps on, wrap it in some clothes, put it in the middle of my clothes packing cubes, put them in my bag, and if I need easy access to them, then I just wear it. Both of these things, this I bought secondhand, and this I bought, it wasn't secondhand I don't think, but it was on clearance because it was marked as being used because it was a floor model. It was basically brand new. There was absolutely nothing wrong with it. Camera gear is an awesome thing to buy secondhand. If you are interested in photography, I highly recommend buying it secondhand. If you're going to buy a camera just for a trip, your photos are not going to turn out that well because it is hard to learn how to use a camera. There's a learning curve. Even if you know what you're doing, it takes a while to learn a new camera. And in that case, a phone is still a great option. There's some other little bits and pieces that are shared between these two. I don't know if you count this as tech, but it's basically a little SD card holder. This is awesome. I'm just having all my SD cards in one place and protected, not having to worry about them. The next thing is this Samsung Portable SSD T7 1TB. This is the one that I would say most people use, and you'll see the most recommended online, which is why I recently bought it when it was on sale. And then I bought this little case for it. It didn't come with this case. I just bought this off Amazon just to keep it safe, and I think it's waterproof as well. Another great thing here actually, so if you skipped my earlier section, I mentioned that I have an iPad. If you're someone that doesn't want to travel with a laptop, but you have issues where your SD cards are always filling up, or you want to transfer files to your hard drive but you don't want to bring a computer, iPad mini is actually a really great solution for that. You can actually plug in, you can get like a little adapter thing like this. You can plug in your SD card and you can plug in your hard drive, and you can actually transfer files using your iPad. So if there are trips where I don't have to bring my laptop, I could bring my iPad and then I could use that to transfer files. Last thing but not least, here is my SD card adapter. So our final section is just other general tech that I bring with me. The first thing I will show is, this is the Bellroy tech pouch. I can't remember what it's called. I've had this for years. I picked it because it is waterproof, or at least water resistant. That way I don't have to worry as much about stuff getting wet. And this is where I'll put any cables. Most things that I need to charge are USB-C, thankfully, so most chargers that I bring are USB-C. Another cool piece of tech that I have, I think this is just one of those like white label products, of which you can find 50 million of them. I'll link one on Amazon if I can find it. This is a cool adapter. It does every country. You basically just like slide out from the side what country you want, and then you can plug like whatever kind of plug you want into the front of it, and then it locks out once it's actually fully extended, so you have to press the button to get it to go back in again. This is really solid. I don't like that it has a light on it. I have taped over this light that's on it. It has these little USB ports, and it also has a USB-C port in the side. I think if I was going to buy one again, I would buy one that has more like USB-C ports and less USB ports, but I've had this for quite a few years now and it still works, so I'm not going to replace it. I mentioned in the other sections, I have my iPad. This has a use in every category for me, but the personal use is that this is great for watching stuff on planes, on long modes of transportation, at your hotel room when you can't get the TV to work, really everywhere, so that you don't have to try and prop up your phone, you don't have to drain your phone battery. It's just a really solid, useful thing. So the last couple things I'm going to mention in this section, I do have an AirTag. I'm not 100% sure where it is right now because I think the battery in it has died, but I do usually keep an AirTag in my wallet or in my passport just to make sure that I don't lose it. It is something that I have not had to use, but it is a great peace of mind to know that you haven't left crucial things behind. The last crucial step for traveling, I feel like, especially if you're taking a plane, a train, any sort of long-term travel to get where you're going, headphones. I recently bought new AirPods. Here they are, after my old AirPods were not really working anymore. I have issues with the in-ear AirPods because they don't really fit in my ears. Apple brought out these little ones like the ones I had before, but these actually have noise cancelling now and they are awesome. Can't wait to travel with these. These are now the headphones that I'm definitely going to travel with. But until recently, I used to travel with these. These are headphones that I got with like a work voucher. I'm not 1000% sure what exact headphones these are. They're Sony ones. They're over the ear, obviously. I don't find over the ear the most comfortable because you can't really like sleep with over-the-ear headphones on, but these ones are good because they do fold up quite small and they work really well, and they were like not extortionately expensive. I will link them if I can find the exact ones. Having noise cancelling headphones changed my life. The other benefit of these on a plane or traveling in general is that you're way less likely to lose them. It's a wonder I've never lost my AirPods, honestly. Like, look how tiny that is. You don't need to rush out and buy brand new AirPods just for traveling, but if you do have noise cancelling headphones, I highly recommend them. If you don't want to buy noise cancelling headphones just for traveling, then I recommend earplugs. I have tried the loop earplugs. Sometimes you will be dealing with screaming children or loud people playing things out loud, and it can just like really drive you insane. Some sort of noise cancelling, no matter what it is, I highly recommend bringing. So that concludes my minimalist tech travel setup. I highly recommend checking out some of my gear reviews, and if you're interested in seeing the results of some of these different cameras and what kind of footage they can capture, then I will link some of my travel videos. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and with that, I am going to say goodbye.